kills more than 300,000 people a year. It can attack anyone regardless of your age, gender, or race. It cannot be seen, treated, easily detected, or destroyed. It is capable of destroying millions of people without wars or violence. AIDS is a chronic or potentially life-threatening condition caused by the virus HIV. How does it feel to be HIV-AIDS patient? What will you do if you found out tomorrow you had AIDS? How will you react if a family member contracted with the disease and was diagnosed with 1 to 3 years left to live? How are you going to treat them? Will you be affected by the stigma and discrimination from the society to these AIDS patients? After researching this subject, I have come to agree with the experts that HIV-related stigma exists worldwide, but it presents itself differently across countries, communities, religious groups, and individuals. It is a prejudice that comes from misinformation and misconceptions about the disease. Today, I would like to show all of you there are various stigmas that arise in society that give a negative impact to the HIV/AIDS patient and initiatives that can be taken to stop the stigma together. Let's dig deeper into the stigma feared by the AIDS patients. Various stigmas arise in society due to the lack of knowledge about AIDS and HIV. People scared about how HIV is transmitted from a person to another, and those make them believe in myths more than facts. Some of the myths are: first, HIV and AIDS have always been associated with death. In fact, even there is no cure for HIV, but medical advance help more people live longer. Secondly, HIV can be transmitted via sneezing, toilet seats, or shaking hands. It is completely wrong because HIV transmitted through the exchange of certain types of bodily fluids, including blood, semen, breast milk, and vaginal fluids. These stigmas can lead to discrimination towards the AIDS patient, not only in the community but also in any kind of employment and healthcare services. In community, discrimination towards patients by rejection from family and friends can force them to leave their home, change their daily activities, and isolate themselves from social life. In the workplace, people living with HIV may suffer stigma from their co-workers and employers, such as social rejection and mockery, or discriminatory practice such as termination or refusal of employment. While healthcare providers might minimize contact with or care of HIV patients, delay reviews treatment, request additional payment for services, and separate HIV patients from other patients. I'm sure you are saddened that HIV and AIDS patients have to face so much stigma and discrimination. They will have a tough life and it will give huge impacts to them. What are the impacts? Let me tell you. Stigma can cause a lot of negative impact to the HIV and AIDS patients. First, patients will suffer psychological damage as they adjust to the difficulties of living with a chronic illness. The leading cause of health-related problems is mental and emotional health disorders. People living with HIV/AIDS are among those who are known to have great emotional needs and require tremendous support to learn to deal with extreme conditions still. The more severe the disease is, the more its effect on the patient's mental health. Secondly, depression is a trait to teens and young adults living with HIV, sometimes triggered by various elements which include high cost of medication, stress, difficult life events, side effects of medication, and disease progression. Symptoms are continuous sadness, anxiety, hollow feeling of helplessness, loss of appetite, and disinterest in interacting with others. Fear of stigma and discrimination will grow and potentially worsen patients' health. Patients are reluctant to seek medical treatment, to reveal their HIV status, and to take antiretroviral drugs. Unwilling to take an HIV test leads to more individuals are diagnosed late when the virus has already evolved to AIDS. This makes treatment less effective, increase the risk of HIV transmission to others, and can cause early death. It is difficult, you see, to be in their place. They have to face a lot of challenge and complications despite their poor health. Now, let's look at how we can reduce the burden of coping with stigma and discrimination. Initiatives can be taken to stop the stigma and discrimination could help them improve their health. Countries worldwide should enroll in policies that accommodate the social economic needs of people living with HIV/AIDS. March 2016, UNAIDS and WHO's Global Health Workforce Alliance launched the Agenda for Zero Discrimination in Healthcare. This works towards a world in which, in line with the UN Political Declaration on Ending AIDS, everybody anywhere will access the healthcare they need without discrimination. The emphasis is on combating inequalities in healthcare, employment, and education environments. Second, NGOs contribute significantly in the overall health of HIV/AIDS patients. They work as a bridge between government, health, and services with HIV, and also provide counseling and support them as well to overcome the emotional consequences of HIV/AIDS. It also helps people HIV to adhere well medication and accepting their HIV status information. Second, start with yourself and listen to people living with HIV. Educate yourself and people about HIV/AIDS through awareness campaign. In decisions that concern them, individuals with lived experience of a disease or social reality deserve a voice. This suggests that HIV sufferers must be at the forefront of the movement to end the stigma of HIV and AIDS. I have clarified the various stigmas that arise in society that give a negative impact to HIV/AIDS patients, and initiatives can be taken to stop the stigma and discrimination. Don't you feel sympathy to these people living with HIV/AIDS with their tough and stressful life? Won't you join me and work together to stop the stigma from continuing in our society? Let's stop the stigma, help them to have a better life. Act today.